BYU and UConn kick off in 3 days. We have counted down from January 2nd, and we are almost there. To help us understand the UConn football program and where they're headed right now, we welcome in Desmond Connor, sports writer for the Hartford Courant. Desmond, what's the biggest thing you've noticed from Bob Diaco, brand new head coach at UConn, as he comes in and takes over now? What's the biggest change that you've seen in his first year?
Well, thanks a lot for having me, guys. I appreciate it. I'd say the biggest thing is just I think the guys have, the players have bought into what Diaco and the staff are selling, in terms of, things like focusing on your body, being in position to finish at the end of the game, focusing on the things that you want to reverse the things that cause you to lose games, not have those things happen. More attention to detail, caring for each other more, those kind of things, being more of a family. I think those are the things that I notice the most, and those things can lead to winning. Obviously, you need very talented players to do some of that, but those are winning things.
I loved some of your tweets about Casey Cochran the past few days, most notably the Boba Fett tattoo, the mullet, and then saying that BYU plays in an incredible conference. I don't know if he knows they're independent. What can you tell us about Casey Cochran, the most interesting man in the world?
The most interesting man in the world. I don't know if the guy from Dos Equis might have something to say about that.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I think he's comfortable. I think what you're seeing is a guy who's comfortable with where he is. He's comfortable in his skin. He's comfortable in being a leader of the team. And I think he's just, expressing himself the way Casey Cochran would do that. I think, a lot of people are kind of surprised to seeing that, but he's his own guy, when it comes to that stuff. But really, he's still a leader. That's what he's most respected for. And the thing with the hair and the tattoo, he was hoping that it didn't attract a lot of attention, but obviously it did when you got people like me taking pictures of that stuff all the time.
But why Boba Fett? If I'm going Star Wars tattoo, I'm not going Boba Fett.
Hey, and he had to tell me who that was. I've never seen Star Wars.
You've never seen Star Wars?
Yes, I know.
Oh,
I have
Desmond.
to see it. I know. I'm a little bit behind here.
Please go and watch Star Wars as soon as you can.
Before Friday, right?
That's right.
I might get a quiz on it, but no. But the thing that stands out the most, more than the hair and the tattoo, is that this guy is a leader, and the team respected him for that. Probably more, not probably, but really more than the other two quarterbacks who were in competition for the job, and that's why he won it.
Desmond Connor of the Hartford Courant joining us on BYU Sports Nation, the UConn beat writer in his 10th season covering the Huskies. There is the undertone, or perhaps overtone, of two quarterbacks potentially playing for UConn. If Cochran is the starter, is there any chance that he won't play the entire game against BYU?
Yeah, I think there's a very good chance of that. I think they're really married to playing two guys in the game. How much? I don't think we know that yet. I think the opponent is going to dictate that, but I think they're just locked in on playing two guys.
The saying is, when you have two, you have none, right? So does Connecticut have a quarterback?
I've heard that saying before. I've heard that. I think in this case, though, you've got guys who have played. And they bring different things to the table. Mm-hmm. They're both accurate. I think Casey's a little bit more accurate. Chandler's a little bit more mobile, and I think that may be, the reason why you may see him a little bit. But that's not all that he does. He's gotten better at throwing on the run, the short and mid-range stuff. He's gotten better at. So. And he throws a good long ball too. So I think they do different things to where it can help get the team down the field. And we're going to see if that's actually going to happen in a game.
Yeah.
But they do have qualities that can help move the ball. But we're just going to have to see how it plays out against somebody else.
Chandler Whitmer is a senior, and Casey Cochran is a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
Cochran, as a sophomore, is now the starter, and then Whitmer has been dubbed the key backup. Is there any drama about the older guy not being the guy in East Hartford?
Not really. You know why? Because I think people saw the way Casey finished up the year last year, winning 3 out of 4. And I think they saw the way Chandler started off the year, with the interception issue that he had, the year before. I mean, he had more interceptions than he had touchdown passes the first year he was here. And so I think anybody who's watching that certainly wants to see something out of that position where that kind of stuff is not happening. And so I think the last 4 games, you had 3 guys, go through 4 games last year, and Casey was 3 out of 4, and his interceptions were the lowest. So I think, if you can keep the ball out of the other team's hands, I don't think you're gonna get much of a stink about that. So I think most people are happy, with Casey in the spot, but I think people know too that Chandler's gotten a little bit better. Supposedly has gotten a little bit better with that stuff, and he can be just as dangerous throwing the ball as Casey is when he's in the game.
Well, the good news is there's a 1,000-yard receiver to throw to, Jeremy Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Can he take over a game?
You know what? That's a good question, and I think there's going to be some situations where he's going to have to. I think we saw a little bit of his ability to do that towards the end of the season, especially that last game. But I think his game has grown so much that he's working towards that kind of thing, and it wouldn't be surprising to me if he ends up being the guy in that situation a few times.
Joining us now on BYU Sports Nation, Desmond Connor, the UConn beat writer for the Hartford Courant. What would a win over BYU mean for Connecticut and Bob Diaco in his first year as head coach?
It'd be a great start, right out of the box. You're talking about a first-time head coach who has worked with a team that was 3-9 last year, 5-7 twice the 2 years before that. Working with that team for 9 months, changing things around and beating a traditional power like BYU. I mean, that would be tremendous for the program. I know, some of these predictions that are out there would have to change. I know that. For me, I mean, I picked them. I thought they were. I have them scribbled in as 7-5. But if you start off the year with a win over BYU, then that's got to come off the table because they'd probably be on fire and ready to play some of these other games that'll be just as challenging for them.
Desmond, how does Connecticut beat BYU?
Well, I mean, I think it better be defensively, and that's going to be. I mean, and that's where the challenge is going to lie. But I think if that's going to happen on Friday night, that's going to be the way that they do it. And UConn's got experience over there, but I don't think they've seen, anything like BYU here in a while. I mean, even Michigan didn't. Even when Michigan was here last year, I don't think they came in, posing this kind of threat offensively that BYU does.
Is the defense the strength of the team?
Absolutely, absolutely. Up front, they're strong, and they have depth there. The corners are strong, and the safeties are very good. The linebackers are they've played. Those guys have experience there, but as far as going through a whole year, starting all of that, they don't. They're not across the board strong with that, but those guys have played. They have experience. And I mean, Diaco is a linebackers coach, and Vincent Brown, the All-Pro up with the Patriots, is the linebackers coach. So those guys are coming along. They're going to have a really good test to see how far they've come along on Friday night.
Who's the best player? The one guy that everyone in BYU Sports Nation needs to know about on defense that we should be aware of.
Well, I mean, I think the most talented guy over there, and probably one of the most talented guys in the league, is the safety Obi Melifonwu. He's incredible talent, speed, power, high football IQ. Just an incredible. I don't want to say incredible, but he's got some things about him to be. A redshirt sophomore, that is pretty impressive for him. And he's got the body, 6'3", 210. He's a talent. He's the guy, I would say, on defense. That's the name you need to know.
What will Connecticut do that might surprise BYU in the game?
I'm going to guess this one. I think you're going to see some balance on offense. I mean, UConn has the reputation of being a power running, football team. I mean, they haven't been able to do that the past, 3 years, and I know they want to get back to doing that up here. But I think they're gonna throw the ball more than we've seen. I think you're gonna see good balance on the offensive side of the ball.
Desmond, we appreciate the insight to the UConn Huskies and implore you, invite you to go and experience Star Wars so that you can connect with Casey Cochran on a whole new level.
Just watch episodes 4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, and 6.
Don't worry about 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, watch the old ones. Watch the old ones.
Watch the old ones. So 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
So 4, 5, 6.
4, 5, 6. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get them all in by Friday, but I might be able to get one in. Four.
Boba Fett doesn't come in until, the end of 5, maybe 6, something like that.
Yeah.
Desmond, we appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.